Good morning from a very humid Miami. It's already 26 degrees Celsius, which is about 78 Fahrenheit. We got up early and did our final pieces of packing. We had a shower and then headed out in search of breakfast. We had passed a local Subway on the way to Walgreens and it was supposed to be open at 9 a.m. When we arrived, it still wasn't open and this was supposed to be within the new pandemic times. We decided to go to Brunch, the bagel factory shop in the corner, and have something to eat there instead. Paul had turkey slice, egg sunny side up and toast, and I had a sausage, cheese and egg bagel. We then walked back to the hotel and I went to take some pictures of the pool area upstairs in the mezzanine level in the morning sunlight, as it was too dark last night to get a good picture. We then put our devices away in our backpacks. We went down to check out as Chris and Ian had sourced a taxi to take us to Port Everglades so we could board our cruise on Celebrity Silhouette. It was a nice taxi ride to the port. When we got out, we were greeted by a porter, who all she said was, "Cross my palms with your silver and I will take care of your luggage." Wait, no. That sounds too Pirates of the Caribbean. She actually said, "I'll be your porter and can you make a donation so I can look after your bags?" Which we did. Just before handing my suitcase over, I had remembered that I hadn't moved the numbers and the combination for the lock, so I did that quickly. The only thing of value in my luggage was the GoPro and Gimbal. Mind you, there was a few days old underwear in there that can fetch a pretty penny on some sites. It was time to head into the terminal and then go through security and check-in and get on board this ship. Oh, and I still didn't have my authorities travel to Bermuda approved. I did have proof that I'd paid it, just not the authorization. Now, as we entered the terminal building, a job's worth told us to go up the escalators. We did try and advise that we're waiting 30 seconds just for the rest of our group to catch up, but she screamed at us and said, "Nope, you can't do that, get up that escalator now." She was very rude, so I stepped aside and said, "Good morning to you too, lady." Totally unfriendly. We then went through security and strangely they were asking for everything to stay in the bags. Now, normally you'd be asked to take out your laptops, devices, take off your jacket, put everything onto the belt, but no, everything had to be put in your bags, and anything in your pockets was then to be put into your bag as well. As we were standing in line, I noticed that I'd had a couple of new emails in the account that I'd used for the authorization, and guess what? It was my Bermuda travel authorization that I had been waiting for. So I was then able to show the form rather than just proof that I'd completed it. But it is a total scam though. With around about 1,300 guests on board, it's £52,000 made off this cruise alone, and for what? If you're not getting off the ship, you still had to pay it. It has caused a lot of disgruntled people. It does show on the credit card statement as a COVID test, but that is untrue, as this is not what it's for and what you're told it's for. But I won't go into that any further. We get to the check-in lane and we surely chose the wrong one. The woman has served one customer to 4 to 5 of those lanes beside us, but we are next in line, so it's not as easy to move. When it is our turn, there's no greeting except I need to see the following paperwork: your Bermuda authorization, COVID vaccination records, COVID test result taken within 48 hours, and your passports. We provide all the paperwork and then she gets confused and then asks again to see all the COVID vaccinations. We explain that we just showed it to you and then you give it back to us. She needs to see it again, to which she replied, "I need your COVID vaccination cards." She was so hell-bent on US policy rather than international, where some people might not have the cards, and we had a printout of all our COVID vaccinations as well as having a digital copy, which she just said was okay. Luckily, I did have the cards when I had the vaccinations, and so did Paul, so she checked them again. She then asked to see Bermuda information again. Now, mine was only electronic, which she wasn't happy about, but I did explain, look, here's the date and timestamp, it's just come through. Also, what a waste of paper. Global warming, carbon footprint, going green, anyone? She finally got us through, and what took 5 to 10 minutes for others took nearly 30 minutes for us. Chris and Ian had moved lines, and we waited for them, and they were quite quick at getting through, none of the faff that we had had. We were then finally able to go and get our set sail passes scanned, and it was time to get on board Celebrity Silhouette. Oh, hang on, we still have to go up the gangway first. We boarded and then went straight to our rooms, which was on the aft of deck 9. So what are the chances? We both bid for an upgrade in our rooms, got that upgrade, and we both have rooms right next door to each other. We now have a bigger balcony because we asked for the door in between to be opened. We put our backpacks and carry-on luggage in the room. We watched a safety demonstration video on the stateroom TV, and then we headed down to our muster station to check in. After checking in at the muster station, we went for our lunch in the Grand Cuvée restaurant, which we get with the concierge class room that we are staying in. After a meal, we went for a walk around the deck. The boys found a spot where we could sit outside. Ian stayed put, and Chris, Paul and I went back to the room to get changed. Now our luggage was outside the stateroom, so I decided I would go up on deck later, as I would take the opportunity to unpack and rest also my knee and hip, which had been hurting me during this trip. I then went to open the lock to the suitcase to find that someone had been trying to get into my case, and they had completely broken off the locks and ruined it. I was so pissed. This is a brand new Samsonite case that we had to buy on a previous cruise because the other cruise lines company broke the wheels off the previous case I had. I took pictures of it and went straight down to guest services to complain. They asked me to complete a form. They said, "Oh, hang on, this could have happened at the airport this morning." I replied, "Nice try, but I have been in Miami since Tuesday evening, and it wasn't broken at the airport, and it wasn't like this when I left the Hotel Miami this morning, nor when I handed it to the porter, as I had to check that I had changed the combination lock on the case." I checked inside and nothing had been taken. As I said earlier, the only real thing of value would have been the GoPro camera with camera grip handle. The rest was just my clothing. Oh, wait, hang on, not to forget the stowaways, because they are the most valuable thing. The stowaways have been loving the aft suite. They're enjoying their time on the balcony because they have their own chair, because for some reason we have 3. I unpacked and had a chat with our stateroom attendant Ronnie from India. We chatted about the last 2 years, and he was telling me all about Goa, where he's from. Afterwards I got changed and then headed back up on deck to see the others. I showed them the pictures of the broken suitcase lock. I then decided to put that behind me. It was such a beautiful afternoon outside. The temperature was 34 degrees Celsius or 93 Fahrenheit. We then had a nice dip in the jacuzzi, followed by just basking in the sunshine, and we were waiting for the ship to set sail. Our captain announced that our set sail time was being altered because they were waiting for some spare parts to arrive from Miami, and the truck was just pulling up alongside the ship. We decided to go back down to the room for set sail. We saw Royal Caribbean's Wonder and Vision of the Seas depart and set sail for the next destinations around the Caribbean. Our friends Michael and Alex are on Wonder of the Seas. All going well, we'll hopefully be on board Wonder of the Seas in May this year as she home ports in Barcelona. We departed port just after 7 p.m. as the sun was setting. So from our aft balcony we watched the sunset over Fort Lauderdale and watched Celebrity Infinity follow us out of port. It was then time to get ready to go for dinner. Our dinner was in the Grand Cuvée restaurant on deck 4. Here's the dinner menu, and if you want a better view, just press pause. After dinner, we walked around the decks inside. And then we went out onto deck 14, followed by a trip through the buffet, which is also known as the Ocean View Cafe. We walked to the back of the ship and then watched a wake. We then headed back to our rooms as it was time to get ready for slumber because it's been another long tiring day. We played on the iPads for a bit before we turned out the lights. And with that, sailors, it's time for us to get some shut-eye. We will be at sea for the next few days, so come and join us for aft balcony sunrises and sunsets, cocktails and a dip in the hot tub. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please consider doing so, part of our story and joining our adventure, and by subscribing, it will let you know when we post next. We will see you for the next episode soon. Good night, and thanks for watching.